So with the new year upon us, many of you have started the journey in growing your clothing line. So I'm going to share my top 11 pieces of advice for you. What's up? Thank you for tuning in to the video. My name is Michael Dedman. I am the owner of ECG Graphics and Printing. I'm currently in my shop right now in between jobs, but I love doing this. I love sharing information with you guys because honestly, it makes my job a lot easier when I'm having conversations with people that come across my content. If you are a new clothing line looking to start, manage, and grow your brand, please consider subscribing to my channel. You can do that by hitting that subscribe button, also banging on the notification bell. So I just wanted to consolidate some of this information and give you 11 different things that you can think about now that you're on this journey. Know your audience. If you don't know your audience, that's gonna be the biggest headache. If you know who your customers are, I call them your PTMs. Ultimately, you wanna build a tribe of people, loyal people. If you can get 500 people, maybe even 1,000 people that rock with you, that really rock with you. When you drop something, they're commenting on your stuff, they're saying how much they like it, and they're actually purchasing. That's what you want. The sooner you know who your target audience is, the faster you can then serve them. Do not compare yourself to other people. I say this all the time in my content, but your journey is gonna be different than your competitors. Your competitors are doing different things because they're in different stages of their journey. They have different capital, they have different price points, they have different business models. All these things contribute to where they are in the moves and the strategies that they are implementing into their business. So stop looking at your competitors as like a benchmark of where you should be. Be consistent. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So this goes on to the last thing. Everyone else in the industry, they're on their own journeys and you're on yours. Do your product development, figure out your systems, make sure you know what types of garments that you actually are gonna use or what type of garments your customers actually like and what different types of styles of printing that actually your customers appreciate. These are all things that you're not gonna learn in the first month of you starting your clothing line. Just started it, so give yourself time to actually develop and get better. Take more pictures of your products. This is one thing that a lot of startup clothing lines don't do enough of because most of the time when I talk to them, they're afraid. They think that, they need all this extravagant equipment or they need to hire a professional photographer to create these mock-ups and, these lifestyle shots for them, but really you don't. Honestly, I'm recording this on my iPhone. Look at my background. My background is all blurry. I'm achieving that on an iPhone. You can get a white sheet or a white piece of paper and just take a over-the-top picture of a product, and that could be something that you could put on your website, and that right there can give you a really nice shot. And your phone does it all for you, your aperture, all of that. You don't have to worry about it. All you got to do is just tap your screen and you get the shots that you want. So take more pictures that you can in the beginning, because when people see a mock-up, that's cool. But when they actually can see the product on people, see it in real life, then they start to imagine themselves wearing it and seeing it and fitting that in their lifestyle. The next thing is get your message out. This kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier when knowing your PTM. If you know your customers, you know who you're targeting, then you know what buzzwords, you know what trigger words in a marketing conversation or a sales conversation that need to happen in order to have those customers, their ears perked to listen to what you're talking about. We're talking about marketing, right? So when you're marketing, it's a long game. You're putting, this marketing out now so that in 5 to 6 months, you're actually able to reap the benefits because now those customers have gotten acclimated with you. I talk about it in my book, but there is 7-11-4, which basically means you need to have 7 hours worth of content online that customers or potential customers can consume. Customers normally need to have about 11 different touch points with your clothing line or your business before they actually purchase. And on average, and the 4 means you should have it in 4 different methods or 4 different platforms. See you here, they see you there, they see, this content creator rocking your brand and they like what their message is about, and it's gonna slowly start to massage and nurture that customer from being, really cold to being warmer and warmer, so that by the time they come to your website, they're already ready to buy. The next thing is make sure all your connection channels are legit. I've seen some customers get dot cards, and a dot card is really awesome because it literally, you can link all of your information to one card, and instead of you giving out a business card, customers can scan a QR code and you're good to go. But honestly, if you don't want to spend 30, 40 bucks, you can literally have all of that yourself. You can get a link tree, but you just want to make it really easy, especially when you're out there putting out your message. If you have a really quick way, instead of telling everybody what your handle is one by one, you can just have one central, very easy way for people, to scan it. And then they are able to see everything that you're doing online, and they can see visibly, how they can, consume 7 hours worth of content on you and get those 11 touch points once you walk away. Next thing is build strong CTAs, and CTAs are calls to actions. And it's another thing I talk about in my book, but there's two different types of call to actions. There's direct call to action where you're directly asking somebody, hey, you want to purchase my sweater? But then there's also transitional calls to action where they're more of you're adding some value to the customer rather than just asking them outright to purchase and take out their wallet. So transitional calls to actions are really good, and it kind of puts in the whole concept that Gary Vee came up with in his book, Jab, Jab, Hook, where basically the jabs are value that you're giving a customer, and then you come in with that hook, and the hook is basically you saying, hey, do you want to purchase? But by you giving value twice, and then you come in on the third one and you say, hey, this is, I've given you value. Is this something that you want? And now you're asking them directly. It's good value, then the customer is going to be more inclined to actually purchase. Next is going to be build and nurture your list. So we talked about, calls to actions in the last one. And we also talked about marketing, how marketing is a long game. I'm going to tell you this. When you're marketing, customers, 9 times out of 10, actually, to be truthful with you, there's 97% of the people that you're trying to market to that are not ready to purchase now, but that does not mean that they won't be ready to purchase in the future. You want to make sure that once you spent all that time to get these customers paid in marketing and put all this time and all this effort into your 7-Eleven forward, and now you've actually converted them and got them onto your website, you don't want to lose them. They may abandon their cart, they may not come back, right? So the best way to do that is to build that list. Easy way to do that is on your website, you have a quick call to action, which is a transitional call to action where it can be 5% off your first order, or hey, do you want to get a free, buy one, get one free kind of thing. But then you ask them for their email or their contact information. That value that you're giving them through the transitional call to action might incline them to actually purchase, right? May get them over that hump, get them through those reservations to not actually purchase, right? Especially if you have a higher end, products, right? But by you doing that, now you're giving yourself the ability to reach out to them at later times, following up with them and taking them through a nurture campaign. So this is the other side of this, right? So if you have email and you have text marketing, you want to be able to nurture these customers or nurture these PTMs, your potential tribe members, through a process that gives them value so that they feel like every single time you give them value, they're somewhat in debt to you. By the time you get in there and you give them that hook, you spoiled them with all of the value that you've given them. Klaviyo is something that a lot of my customers use, and I extremely recommend. If you go onto my website right now, ecggp4u.com, if you're on there for about 10 seconds, you'll see a pop-up that pops up. That is a Klaviyo pop-up. If you rather do text messages, which we all know are way better converters when you're marketing to people, people answer their texts more than they answer their emails. But if you want to do that, it's SMS Bump. And you can actually sign up for an account with them, and you can start having conversations with your customers through that platform. But there's a lot of different ones out there, man. You have HubSpot, you have all these different ones that you can go in. They're also called CRM, so customer relations management. So it's just allowing for you to take it a step further. If you start getting your list into these databases, you can start doing automation with your direct emails and with your text messages and all that other stuff. So just invest in that if you can, because every customer that comes to your website is super important. The next thing is tracking your UE or your user experience on your website. Like I said earlier, a lot of my customers are using Shopify stores where it has like a heat map where you can see where people are actually, frequenting the most on your website. So if you know these things and you know that this is where people are, the drop-offs, then you can start to pay attention to, the hot spots of where people are. So if you can track that user experience, make sure it's really simple, really clean. Like I said, your website should just be all about the checkout. People shouldn't go to your website to find out about, who started the business and all of this extra nonsense. You did all that in your other content. You already told them about, what you do and why you do it. Your website honestly should just be a converting master. It's called a frictionless transaction, and you want your website to not add to that friction, because normally this is the last and most crucial step in the process of actually converting your customers. Next is going to be better manage your inventory. Now, there's many different ways you can go about doing this. You can manage it yourself, or you can go through a POD. But it's all up to you as a clothing line owner, whatever your capacities are, what you can handle, what you can't handle, but you gotta manage it better. A great resource for this is Box Hero. You can literally go in, you can set up your own account, you can have all your different SKUs on there and just manage it, make sure you know where it's at and make sure you know how much you have, all the variations, all that different stuff you can do right in the app. You can have it on an iPad, you can have it on your phone. It notifies you every single morning at a certain time that, hey, these are low, you need to order more of this. Awesome, but you gotta manage your inventory level. That's the difference between you making a couple $100s a day or having to wait 2 to 3 weeks to actually go to your supplier, someone like me that has to go in and order the garments and print them for you, then send them back to you. So you wanna make sure you manage your inventory. Next, kind of talked about this earlier, but many of you guys are really happy about the first designs that you make. You made them for yourself, you're super excited. But if you can, as your business starts growing, as you start to figure out what your customers like, what they don't like, it's really important that you plan your drops ahead of time. You know, think about the designs that you want to do next winter. Think about the stuff you want to do next summer, because then that gives you some cushion, that gives you some room to reach out to your designers and reach out to your suppliers and talk to your vendors and talk to your screen printer and say, hey, like, I'm planning on doing this drop. Is this something that you can do? Or, hey, man, I've been thinking about doing this. What type of garment do I want to have? Or what type of print do I think I can get? Or, hey, this is the margin. This is how much I'm thinking about selling it for. So what type of print style do I think is appropriate for me to maintain my margin? So I gave you guys a lot. I always like doing that. If you took something from this video, please run it on up. You know, subscribe to the channel. I like to drop videos at least once a week, but if you follow me on all my other social media platforms, I try to drop content daily. So this is my book, The Clothing Brand Blueprint, something that I've been writing for the past year. It's in its final stages. It is ready for pre-order. If you want to pre-order this, go down into the links below, pre-order it. Check you guys in the next video.